All right, fight fans, coming from the Caveman Studios in Buffalo, New York. Welcome to Caveman Corner with your host, Jeff.
Captain Caveman!
Thanks.
That was a great open, Ray.
Oh, thank you.
You're doing good. I don't know how you got so good. Should give your time off more often.
Oh, man. It was the pizza, I guess. I ate a lot of pizza.
You had pizza again today?
Yeah.
Dude, last time you came to my podcast here, you had pizza too. That time I was cutting weight.
Yeah, I'm a greedy bastard. I'm a fat bastard. I need to get back in the gym and get in shape again
I do not disagree with that.
before I get type 2 diabetes.
What do you think about the new studio, Ray?
It's nice. You know,
It's not fan-doozy nice.
it's not a Fandusi studio, $1 million studio, but it's nice, though.
Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting it piece by piece. We got 3 mics now. We got a mixer. We got a computer. We got the smallest desk of all time.
We're going to get a bigger desk. I'm going to look around.
We can turn this into the guest desk. So just the guest sits here. We need a bigger desk for all our shit, man. It don't even fit on the table.
Hell yeah.
This old guy, Butch, got me this like $20 garage sale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's all right. Gotta have him on the show sometime.
Cool.
Yeah, he's an old guy, dude. He did judo forever.
Oh, yeah? He could spike me in my head.
Yeah, he gets bike on. He's like 70 something, dude. He's retired and he's still strong.
Oh, shit. I don't want no problems with him.
Yeah, he's a white guy too, and he lives in Amherst. He's probably not gonna be too into you.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I believe it.
Yeah. Today we're gonna have an awesome guest.
We got Pat Mix.
No love.
No love. World champion.
Yeah.
King of the Cage champion.
KOTC world champion, 135 pounds.
Yeah. Hopefully soon, UFC.
Yeah, for sure. He's got 2 more fights in contract. I'm sure we'll talk to him about that a little bit. Probably the guy I would have my money on all of us to make the UFC first. Probably the Black Dragon next. And then Superfly after that.
And then Caveman next.
Yeah. Caveman is going to make Bellator someday. If I stop getting knocked out. I got knocked out by Napoleon Dynamite.
I got to admit, that was hard to watch. But,
Yeah.
Your wife took it better than me. I had tears coming down my eyes.
Oh, man.
It was crazy.
I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. I won't get knocked out by a dude that looks like Napoleon Dynamite.
Listen, I was pumped up for that fight, and
I was fucking him up, dude.
you was, and I was so happy you was on the leg kicks. I was like, yes, Caveman tearing up the legs, yes. But
Then put me to sleep.
you know what, Caveman? I didn't know you was knocked out when he hit you. I see you go down, but then you didn't get back up. Like
Yeah.
you like couldn't get back. You was trying to get back up. It seemed like.
Yeah, I was wrestling with the ref, dude. When they knock you and you wrestle with the ref, you know you probably not doing so good.
Right.
Not a good night.
Right. So that was hard to watch. But
Yeah.
you're a tough guy. Nobody can take nothing away from you.
Dude, I really felt at the time that he couldn't hurt me. I ate some of his just straight right hands. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna kill this guy. I got this shit won. And then I woke up and I'm talking with Keith in the locker room. I don't remember nothing.
You know what? I did see you take them hits, man, and you took them like a champ. And Napoleon Dynamite, man. Oh man, I don't know what to say now.
That left hook got me, fucker.
What's that left hook?
His left hook. I walked into straight right, and that's what busted up my nose. And then that left hook just put me down. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be back a couple months. King and Cage, Salamanca. Make sure you get your tickets, T-shirts, everything I sell. Peddle my shit. Ray bought a T-shirt.
Yes, I did, and
a ticket.
and let's see, probably go to this fight, and man, I just Napoleon Dynamite, damn, I was so pumped up for that fight, and shit happens. Like I said, you can't take nothing away from you. You're a tough dude.
Yeah, I thought I had him. I could beat him. I think I beat him 9 times out of 10. But I lost the time that matters, so nothing you can do or say about it now. Back to the drawing board. Work harder.
Yeah.
Eat more rocks. Get that head a little bit harder. Looks like it might be Jason Nowitzki for the next one.
Who the hell is that Polak?
He fought Pat before at TNT for the title.
Is it the Riverworks?
Yeah, the Riverworks. The big guy, the 155er that we lied and said was lighter. So him and Pat can fight for the title.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that guy's... Yeah, that'd be a good fight for you.
Yeah, back in the Wild West. He's slow, dude. It is what it is. He's probably just as good. We'll see who's tougher. If I'm washed up, then I'll be knocked out. If I'm not, I'll beat him. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
It's a fight game, man.
Shit happens. Anybody could get knocked out. I'm just blessed I haven't got knocked out yet.
Yeah.
But
I know someone's not getting knocked out. Pat Mix.
yeah, Pat makes. He ain't gonna get knocked out. He gonna choke somebody out though. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's see if we can get Patty on the line here.
All right.
What's going on, man?
What's going on? How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. We're here with Pat No Love Mix, world champion.
World champion.
How's it feel to be a world champion, Pat?
It feels pretty good, man. It's a little bit a month short of 6 months right now, so I'm itching to get back in there and fight.
Yeah, you were originally scheduled to fight on the card, and then you weren't able to fight. Can you tell the fans what happened? I mean, a lot of people were asking since they, promoted that you're going to be on the card all the way up until the fight.
Yeah, about a couple of weeks prior to the fight, I tried out for the Ultimate Fighter. And, my fight was up in the air just because we didn't know if we had made the show, so we still kept it lined up just in case as things didn't go. Just in case if they didn't get signed for the Ultimate Fighter, but the fight never materialized just because of promotional material and stuff like that, all the ticket sales, and we couldn't get enough for how many I sell,
So it just came down to financialness, and you were originally gonna fight in UFC. The UFC was not very clear about whether you're gonna make the show or not for a long time. I mean, I know that personally, but I just want to make sure that the whole world knows that as well.
Yeah, very unclear. I wasn't sure, it was a waiting period about like 3 to 4 weeks of just not knowing.
And all that time he's just sitting around. Pat's like, I've spent a lot of time with Pat during this whole thing. I can't put it out on the air until they it's settled, but it's tough because this whole time Pat wants to fight.
Competing every few months, you feel like you have momentum, and then if you take a layoff almost, the same momentum and the same kick-up's not there. So to say, some people like to say. So it's hard. This is probably the longest I've had a layoff between fights, I think, since I might have started.
And the opponent you were going to fight, you really wanted to fight him, is a really good D1 wrestler. It was set up, and people are saying that you're scared or whatever, but I can tell you 100% Pat Mix isn't scared to fight anybody, and he's re-signed that fight, and they're going to make it happen March 12th?
Seneca Casino.
No, yeah, May 12th.
May 12th,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm super excited just because with signing for the Ultimate Fighter, we had to keep our mouths shut on a lot of things. Like, we really couldn't put anything out in the air. So when my fight got pulled and things didn't work out, I think the kid might have thought I was trying to run from him or trying to pull out of the fight because I'm scared of him. So I personally seek this matchup. I want this fight. This is the fight that I need right now, for me, just personally. So, yeah, I just want to show him that I didn't pull out because I'm not really scared of shit, and I just want to go beat him down. So
no one understands how good your overall game is, man. I can't wait to see it. I've been telling Pat personally, I think his striking is going to come out in this fight, but who knows? Fighting a good wrestler, Pat might just choke him out. We don't know yet.
Well, what happens?
Yeah, it'll be a good fight. He's really game, and I think he's pretty good everywhere too. So it's a good fight, and that's what I want. I used to wrestle, and I'm sure he's wrestled or just competed in general. Even in the gym, I'm always trying to find the hardest work, the hardest rolls, the hardest spars. So I don't go, getting off on beating up people I know I can beat up. Just so happens that all these fights have worked out for me, but I want a guy to test me, and I want to be. I want that dog fight, and I think that he could bring that too. So I'm excited to thrive in that condition. I think I'm going to show a lot of people that I just don't have a lot of skill, but I have a lot of stamina, heart, and will on top of all the good talent I have. And it's just because I work so hard.
I would say your strongest asset is your will and your willingness to go through anything to get that win, especially on fight night. You always rise to the occasion. Tommy Neff, our boxing coach, says the best thing about you. I want to put this on the air too. He's like, man, Pat Mix is humble in the gym, and on fight night, he's going for it all. And he's just so impressed by your willingness to learn, and you're nervous before the fight, but on fight night, dude, you just go out and you perform under the lights. And that says a lot about you as a fighter.
Yeah, and that's good because that's a product of, I think, my training and my training partners and my sparring rounds to make it feel that natural when you go out there and fight, that confident. and just to deal with it, because I feel like I deal with it every day in the gym. You know, like been sparring Alex Castellano a lot lately. I've been sparring Solomon Renfro, um, Ali, Rexepi, you, Sean Felton, all these guys, and
Joe
you know,
Taylor.
yeah, Joe Taylor, when you go to, and like I'm talking war rounds, like we're in there, and I mean, we're protecting the head. Don't get me wrong, but we're moving our heads, and we're moving to a level that's like a high pro level. So I'm already prepared for where I'm at in my career. I feel so that's why I think I deal with the nerves so well. You know, I try to look at it as sport and still have that animalistic feel, but that's why I like to sometimes have Herbert in my corner, because he reminds me that it's still sport. And he reminds me that in this certain sport, I am the best in the world, you know?
Yeah, without a doubt. You are definitely one of the highest ranked contenders on the East Coast. What do you do for training? I know you got a trip lined up. Do you want to tell the fans about it?
Yeah, I do. Well, normally I stay home for training for the last, like, my first, like, 15, I think, fights or whatever. And now I've gotten a little higher in my pro career. I'm on a bit of a more streak. Like, I'm really trying to push to get to this streak to 20. That's been my goal. That's my short-term goal right now. And I've been traveling around and changing camps up and seeing where we like, and just to add stuff, not really to change anything up, just to, add more tools to my repertoire. And I went to Jackson's twice, and this will be my third time going out there. And I think this will be the most successful trip. This will be the longest I've stayed. This will be the first time I'm actually staying at the facility. So I think I'm going to, even up my training by not like double my training, but at least half, because I'll be at the facility. I think I'll take advantage of, meeting more of my connections out there, and just training in itself. So I'm going to go back out to Albuquerque. I actually fly out tomorrow morning.
Oh man, awesome! Thank you for coming on before you fly out. I know it can be a stressful thing packing and getting ready to go, and you got family here. And what happens with your family when you go? I know you got a longtime girlfriend, Nicole, and you got a baby on the way.
Me and Nicole have been together for a long time, like 4 years now. And we got a baby on the way. She's actually 7 months pregnant. And they're going to be basically like, I have my family and her family back home, and they'll be together, and, she'll be around her mom and dad as well as my dad, because we all live local out here. So she'll be in good hands, and that's probably the toughest part about it all, is just to leave, and not just my family behind, but her behind, knowing that what condition she is in right now, and being 7 months and a high-risk pregnancy. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but it's part of my process and our sacrifice we do going into this, and trying to chase the world ranks, the UFC. We know what our future holds, so we're trying to prepare ourselves as best as possible. And right now it's just practice, because this short 4 weeks or 5 weeks, whatever it may be, that I'm away at camp is going to be nothing to when I'm signed to the UFC and I have to fly across the world.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the sacrifices people don't really understand, what fighters have to go through to be able to perform in the cage.
Yeah, and that's important.
While you're gone, what's the best way for people to get tickets for your fight? Just contact Nicole, or do you got other people set up?
Yeah, I wouldn't even really, just because she's so far along. I don't even put really no ticket burden on her. To be honest with you, by the time I'm gone, by the time I'm back, they actually won't even be selling tickets. Like, I think they sell them online, but man, I don't really feed into that bullshit, like buy tickets online, because who knows, where their names are going, all right? So normally I just wait till I get home, and I get home like the first week of April, and I'm meeting with the ticket guy, Jeff. He's one of my buddies from King of the Cage, and he's actually coming in on April 6th to meet with me, so I'll actually be home before he even comes to drop off any tickets, and they actually officially release. Trying to just get them to everyone when I get back.
That's awesome, man. You are one of the biggest ticket sellers in the area, and not just because you're a great fighter, but you're a great salesman too. How do you go about getting so many sponsors? I know people want to be you.
The craziest thing about it is like, I don't know if I think that I just sell tickets a lot because I think I have a huge following, and it's just it's grown. You know, I have a huge following, but it's been on a long streak. That's why I think I sell so many tickets, because each fight has grown more and more people, and with a winning streak comes excitement. You know, with that undefeated record as an amateur and then moving on to as a pro. So it helps me, and I'm pretty professional about it. You know, I sell tickets, but I also am very personable. I communicate with my people and my fans, and the people that buy tickets aren't really my fans. They're like more like my friends and, you know, like close people to me. So I think that, you know, that helps out as well. I don't really have, and then sponsor-wise, I feel like I have sponsors, but the reason why I keep them and I go about getting, acquiring sponsors is because I don't charge them so much. You know, it's really reciprocal. They really don't, I charge them a real low fare, and I just want, you know, some small support. I'm not looking for major support, you know.
Right.
I make ends meet by working hard at being a ticket seller, you know, working hard as trying to win the fight. You know, I'd rather make my money there. Sponsorships is just, it helps me, but I don't really look to live off of that money.
Can you talk about how you got involved early in the sport? I know Art and Dennis been with you for as long as I've known you, and that's one great thing that really made me think that you were going to go somewhere.
I think that's the roots, you know. I started at a young age, and I took a few years off. Like, I was, I think, 15 years old when I first stepped in the gym, and it wasn't like how we have a gym now. It was like how we have gi, all these kickboxing classes, all these members, all that. No, it was just like a gym, a cage, and about 5 or 6 fighters, and Dennis was a pro. Well, you know, Amy going to pro, then turned pro, and he had Jackson for boxing. He had me for wrestling and jiu-jitsu, like rolling with him, Matt Morris, Jake Anderson, and then Art, and there was a few of us, and Snake owned the gym, Mike Tome. Rest in peace, Mike. He was a great guy, and he had a great gym. You know, we were just a close-knit family. Brad Stallman for boxing. Like, I mean, I remember everyone so well because, and I was a young kid, just because how tight it was, and I think that was the biggest, most important thing about that gym was just that it was a really close-knit family. Mike really took care of everyone, and his morals and the way he took care of Dennis, I've seen that. And Dennis then, in turn, did the same for me, you know. And same with Art, you know. They, because I only knew Mike so long before he passed away, and he was a great guy, and I know. And Art tells me this all the time, you know, it's what Snake would have done every time, you know, anytime he does something real nice, or, you know, I'm really thankful for him. You know, he just says that that's what Mike would have done. And that's how it's always been, you know. So I know how much of a idol and a mentor Mike was to Dennis, because that was Dennis's original coach. So it's been important for us to stick together, and I think that that's a big important, one of the most important reasons why.
I think that speaks volumes about you as a person. You're at that pinnacle of the sport right now, like where you could just cut ties with everybody and go wherever you need to go to get better. But you're really loyal. You're really loyal to Nicole. You're loyal to the gym, and you're really loyal to Art and Dennis and that whole thing. Can you speak about like how loyalty makes you a stronger person? I mean, you're one of the best teammates that I've ever had.
Yeah, I feel you know, that's what I know. I guess that's what I've been taught or just like learned, you know, from my family, my grandfather, my mom, even Nicole's dad. You know, I think it's just been taught through that, you know, life lessons and just like the sports I've been in, like, because I've been wrestling so long in my life, my coaches, different people that have filled those voids in my life that they've just brought me up. You know, I never really looked at myself until you said that as how loyal, you know, how loyal you are until you just like really mentioned on it. But yeah, I think it's important. You know, I wouldn't feel right if I did it any other way. You know, if I didn't represent myself, my family, and the things that I feel have brought me to where I'm at respectfully, then I don't know why I would be doing it, you know. So I couldn't just ever just like, you know, just walk away and cut ties, you know, because then that would be losing part of myself, and in turn I don't think I would fight or train or still progress the same, you know, as a fighter, as a martial artist, should I say.
It's reasonably awesome how well you support everybody, no matter who's fighting who? You're always behind them. You're like, oh, this is what we got to
Yeah,
do.
there's some good teammates out there, man. On top of being like an athlete and stuff, like I was always a good teammate in wrestling, man. I used to watch all my teammates. I was like on the bench, always watching. I was always sitting next to my coach, Coach Billy Sills from Lake Shore. Like I was like an extra coach, man. I was always like running the stats, seeing who wrestled who. Like on top of it, I was like a huge fan. You know what I mean? And I've always done that. So like when I get in MMA, I like try to pick other people's brains. And I like training. You know what I mean? On top of like the whole fighting and my own journey, I like helping people. It's just weird, man. It gives me something to do, and it's just like what I enjoy. It's like a hobby. And
You've been giving back to the youth. You work over with Don Lilly at Sweet Home. How's that going? And can you tell us about your
Lily's
coaching?
pretty good, man. Lily teaches me a lot. He's like super energetic coach. I'm telling you, he reminds me of Izzy Martinez from he's John Jones's coach. He's just like really energetic. He says how it is, and he's really straightforward to the kids. And I think he's a product of our program. It's you've seen it night and day, Sweet Home Wrestling over the last 10 years. And before Don, got equipped to the program about 6 years ago, he's taken it, built the program from the ground up to where it is now. And over the last 4 years, we've had 5 sectional finalists, and that speaks volumes because prior to that 5 years where we've had, 4 years, where we've had 5 finalists, the 10 years before that, I think there was only one, or 1 or 2. And I was one of the kids that wrestled him, so it's just weird how it worked out. And I'm happy to be coaching with Lily, but more or less really happy to be coaching underneath him because I feel like I learn a lot as a coach.
I said the kids are lucky. They got you and they got Don.
Yeah, we got me, Don, and then we also have 2 other coaches on staff. We have another assistant named Corey Mitchum. He wrestled for Sweet Home, and he coaches a lot of other sports. And he's really tight with the kids, and they really look up to Corey. Corey's a great role model for him. He's also a really great coach, and just really a lot of people that can wrestle. You can wrestle all day, but when you have to break it down and show particular movements and stuff like that, I really feel Corey's really good at that and expressing it to the kids. So that's really important. And Corey's really good for our program. And then we have Ryan Mislin, and Ryan Miz is we just got him over this last year. He coaches our modified program, and he's like a dream coach if you think about it because he has so much experience. Like when I was wrestling in high school, he was coaching against me. I think he coached for 13 years under Matt Haverhill of Cheektowaga. So this dude's he's a better coach than I am. We have him in our feeder program, just teaching our kids right before they're coming to us. So I know next year, the years prior to that, upon that, we're going to have a lot of young, good kids coming up because they're coming through Ryan.
I got to say, you guys are doing a great job there. Can you talk a little bit about your kid that got ripped off? I want to give him a little highlight too, man. I felt awful about that match.
It was tough, and it's hard because, Yasser's Yasser, has all the potential in the world, the kid that we have, his name's Yasser Esselay, he's a senior. And he's been on the team since he's been in 8th grade. And he's been on and off, ineligible some years, eligible other years. His best ever finish was 3rd place in the section. And he was wrestling a really good kid, actually a sectional finalist. A 2-time sectional champion, in the section finals. And Yasser's really not supposed to be in that match. But, in wrestling, a lot of times you see the number 1 ranked kid versus a kid that's not even in the rankings. That's not much of a match, And everyone really counted Yasser out. And I knew what Yasser's potential was because I've worked with him for so long. I really worked him to peak right at the end of the senior year. I knew I could get him to keep his stuff together. I knew I had a chance. This was my last chance because he was a senior, to really get him to make that last run. And I practiced him super hard. I went with him. I feel like he got confidence. He was taking me down that last week, And in that sectional finals match, it was 1-0 with 40 seconds left, and Yasser was pushing the kid, and the kid got hit for stalling. So it was 1-0 now. They have to go to the center. It's a fresh start. The kid's been warned, and Yasser head taps him off the whistle, kind of clubs him. and shoots a double and picks him up with a double. And when he picked him up with a double, he returned him too hard to his back, and they disqualified him, which is like a questionable call. It's I don't know. It's all on the ref's decision. So I can't really make any claim because I'm not a ref. But it looked clean, but in the heat of the moment, you never know. But it's all for the kid's safety in the end. But very close match and very very winnable. And I'm very good glad with the way even it ended, because Yasser proved to not just himself but everyone that he's right there with the best wrestlers in the state.
That's awesome, man. This is a great story too, and it really shows you as a coach too. I really wanted you to just put it in your own words, and when people listen, they're gonna know what kind of guy you are, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was a great experience. Even with it was heartbreaking, but it was a great experience. I feel like we learned a lot. I feel like Yasser grown a lot. When a wrestler wins and he loses, we both have to walk off the mat, and sometimes in our sport, you see a kid hang his head, or you see him let the emotions out when no one's around, and I got to walk in the back and share a moment with Yasser, and I feel like he'll always remember that moment, and he'll always be able to grow from it. And if it couldn't have worked out any better, unless we of course won, but I feel like we still won in a lot of areas in that certain situations.
Awesome. You're gonna have to attach. You have the clip of it on your phone. I want you to, when we post this, I want you to attach that to it so everyone else can see it. Man, I thought it was a bullshit call too. There was no separation between
definitely.
the two of them, man.
Yeah, there's no separation between the two of them. But maybe we will attach it, but maybe we won't, because as a coach, I don't know if I can do that because of the kid, because of the screen rule or whatever. But
yeah.
Hey, it was a bullshit call for whoever's listening.
Yeah, it was BS, man.
But yeah, man, it was tough. But, we live and we learn. I think that, that's just the beginning of the journey for Yasser. If he chooses, there's doors open, and I hope that he maybe takes some doors one day. But, I hear end trips right down the road. Maybe one day he'll be on their team. If he decides to wrestle again, who knows?
Hopefully Monty will turn him out good, man. It'd be good matchup for him.
Yeah, I believe he was asking about him, and I'm not sure if Yasser even wants to do that, but kid's got potential, and it would just be more or less about just keeping his head and on focus and focusing on your academics.
Do you think that wrestling's the best base for MMA?
I think that, of course. All right, so we're talking about the best base of it. Any base is great, you know what I mean? So that's one thing, Any base is better than no base. So I would never say street fighting, you know what I mean? Of course. But yeah, I think that wrestling is the best base for MMA right now. But as the sport is evolving, I think that you're going to start getting dual kids now, these young kids that are playing multiple sports. So eventually wrestling will be outgrown to having to have more than one base as a child, if you know what I'm saying. So 10 years from now, I don't think that wrestling will be the only base. I think it will be wrestling and karate, or, do you know what I'm saying? Wrestling and jiu-jitsu, because you're seeing kids start doing jiu-jitsu so young, start wrestling. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, what's the best style of wrestling? Greco-Roman?
The best style of wrestling? I'm not sure, man. I study different styles of grappling and wrestling, but I think that the Russian, Caveman style is the strongest, most dominant style of wrestling in MMA right now. Not just because of the way he does, just the way he does it, but if you really study the way they leg trap and still punch and still do effective damage, it's
that wrestling with the heavy sambo style, you're saying?
Yeah, the sambo style. It does so much more damage because, it's wearing for someone. How wearing is it on your body for someone just to wrestle you? But, can you imagine getting wrestled and punched at the same time?
Ray can't even make it 35 seconds kicking people in the legs. He's not going to be down on the ground wrestling.
Ray did fight that one guy from Cortland Elite, though, and he did kick him, I think, a lot, right?
Yeah. What was that dude's name, Ray?
That fight, Ray? You remember that fight, Ray?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a cool card, that fight. You had Mix, you had Sullivan, you had Morgan fighting. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a good card.
Mix won a title that night, I think, right?
Yep.
Is that when you beat Jay
Nah,
Nowitzki?
no, I
No,
didn't
no,
win
no,
a
no, no,
title
no, no,
that
no,
night.
no,
No.
no,
I didn't
no,
win a
no.
title that night.
That
Though.
was the next show at the Riverworks.
Oh, all right. I get it confused. There were so many so quick. And Pat won every one, so it's hard to tell.
It took me 11 fights to get a TNT title.
Wow. God damn.
Damn.
Yeah, right. I had the hardest way. I fought mad TNT. No titles are ever open for some reason. Damn Don Lilly.
Todd got a title,
Nah,
didn't
I'm
even
just
beat
joking.
anybody, right? The guy didn't even
I know,
show up to
right?
the cage.
Funny.
I think Keith did the same thing. I think Keith.
But Todd deserved the title. Though the kid literally ran out at the event.
He did.
He was there and then he disappeared. You seen Todd's head tattoo.
Oh my god. Todd was so scared, or like so mad that day.
I know.
He was just walking
I don't
out the
blame
cage. They're like, "There's no fight." Literally happened right before it. That'd be the worst.
Dude got sick.
I know I'd have been mad too though. So I'm not showing up to the weigh-ins.
You've fought multiple weight classes. You've tried to go down a weight. What's the future weight class for Pat? Are you gonna stay at 135? You're gonna try and make 25? Or are you still growing?
Yeah, I fought multiple weights, man. From 120, what did I get down to? 129 is the lowest I've gotten. I fought from that weight to 55, I think. And then the kid didn't make 55, so he weighed in at like 57. So, and that's like 18 fights, including a kickboxing fight where he weighed in at 54. He didn't make weight either. So, I mean, I fought everywhere, and I only go up if like it's I guess played out that way or scheduled that way or the plan has changed or diverted to go that way. I mean, like my pro debut was at 40, so I got offered that, money on the line. It was a good fight. I took it. But my weight that I really want to go to the UFC at is 35. I feel like if I could get some more muscle on my frame, I'll be really good at bantamweight. I was struggling for a long time to always try to get down to flyweight. Like, I don't know if it's like a wrestler's mindset thing or just like a weight cutting thing, but you always want to get your lowest. And it's like not even a battle of you between anybody. It's just like between yourself. I think it's almost detrimental to a lot of guys' careers, like Anthony Johnson and other like good fighters. And I feel like I was almost like gonna go down that route because I'm still growing and still trying to just like suck my body so low,
Right. You look great at the weight you are right now. You look huge. You're big. You're strong. You feel strong as hell.
I think this will be the one that really shows, and I guess I really fill out because, since I made that catchweight 130, I think it was my second fight ever. I went on a 4-fight stint until I went back down to that weight when I fought Bazzi. So for like a year, I was always depleting myself, like knowing I was going to try to make it down to 25. And then when I had that blow up and I missed weight against Jesse Bazzi, that was the fight that told me that I'm not going for no more 125. So I'm going to embrace making 135 now. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to get bigger. I'm going to get stronger. I did that for a little while. So that was in August after that Bazzi fight. And then I just won a world title in November. So I embraced it. But now I feel like, I was just learning about myself in November, getting back up to 35. I think that this is the one that now I'm just the strongest I've ever been. I'm moving the best I've ever have.
Right. You don't look sucked out in practice at all. Like even like when you're cutting weight.
I'm not sucked out. I'm fast, strong. I can move. I can move with the best, the biggest, the strongest guys in the room. I think I can punch just as hard. I can kick just as hard, So, and I'm just talking, off my own skill set. So I think that being at 35 right now, and the weight cut's not too much. I think it's going to really show. And I'm fighting a Division 1, 12-4. I think he's Division 1 All-American. He's 12-4 as a pro MMA fighter. He's ranked top 100 in the world. So this guy's supposed to be real good. We'll see, like May 12th, with the show I'm going to put on. We'll see, after that, then I'll be saying, I've really, filled up, and this is the weight class,
Yeah, you can't eat
I take
Funyuns at
him out.
25.
Yeah, if I take him out with the way I'm planning on doing it, that'll tell me right there I'm 7-0. I just, murked Tony Gravely, the badass, the dude that I guess they said I didn't want to fight or whatever. 7-0, I got a lot of momentum, and I have one fight left in my contract. That's my goal.
Yeah. What's next after KOTC?
I don't know. We'll probably get to 8-0. That's my goal. And then, of course, I'm not looking ahead. I'm just looking, like, straight through. I'm never, like, thinking that anything's guaranteed, none of that. I actually really enjoy, like, not knowing if you're going to win or lose. So I got these next 2 fights. Regardless if I win them or lose them, I'm going to put on a show. So I have 2 fights left. And after that, I'm thinking I'm either going to renegotiate King of the Cage. We're going to see, because I'm such a draw that, I don't know, I'm not really even trying to sell tickets. If I was like Bubba Nortoning people, like, if I was doing some shit like that, I'm telling you, I'd sell like 30 G's worth of tickets. I'm like, I'm over here like nickel and diamond, just kind of chilling, working, hanging out. I really don't even know if I sell any tickets to people at the gym. Yeah, man, I don't know if I sell a lot of tickets for them, so they're gonna want me back, and maybe a few more fights I'll start pushing more and get more organized. We'll get some more billboards. We'll get some more support from my city, more sponsors. We'll just grow it until we get signed, because if I don't get signed by the UFC after when I'm 8-0, or like get a contract from Bellator, I wouldn't be opposed to running this record up and taking on all comers until I prove to Dana White and anybody in the UFC that I'm ready. And if UFC or Bellator in the cage didn't work out or whatever, I know Terry and I've talked, and he's got connections with the show Risen in Japan, so they're like a real reputable MMA promotion. He sent a lot of these King of the Cage fighters out to fight for Risen. So like Melissa Kerrigan, she's the ex 105-pound champ. I think you know her, the Canadian girl. Yeah, she's fighting on Risen. The girl Andy Wynn, that was the champ, she's fought on Risen. The girl that just fought Killer B last weekend, Cassie Robb, remember her?
Yeah.
She's fought on Risen. So clearly Terry has a connection there, and we've talked, and if I get to 8-0 and it looks right, I'm hoping he sends me to Risen, and I would not be opposed to fight Manuel Cape. He just fought Ian McCall. I would be searching, hunting, praying for that fight personally. He's ranked. He's like 10-2 or something, whatever. Little bum ass record. That guy, or I would want to fight that Horiguchi guy. He fought Demetrius Johnson, and that's the guy that Terry said that no one wants to fight. And if I made it to 8-0, maybe possibly that could happen.
That'd be a great fight for you too.
Yeah, man, he's like 18-3. Like, that guy's good. I would love to go down to Japan to whoop his ass. I would. I'm telling you. I would. It's getting to that point. I'm serious. Like, I'm getting to the record. Like, all this stuff, all these fights in the past, they were all the building steps to get an opportunity. All I'm looking for is an opportunity to really prove myself, an opportunity against the best guys in the world. I'll take the damage, but I'll be there, That's what that's my goal. Like, I've never took no damage in no fights, but I'm ready to take damage, and I'm ready to get into a fight so I can prove to everybody in the world, how good I am. That's my goal.
Did going to Greg Jackson's and working with the really high level elite guys, the UFC champions, does that really give you a dose of self confidence to know that you're on that level?
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird, man. Like, because you see them on TV and you see this, but it's no different than training with anyone else. I mean, the self confidence comes from like seeing that. I think the first few times I went out there, but now my self confidence doesn't come from that. No, it just comes from me being myself, because I don't label that training as any different than the training I'm doing at home. I look at them guys as being normal people, just as the same as I look at my guys at home being normal now, in my head. So, like, I think it does give you, like, a boost in self-confidence when you first see it. But now that you're already adapted to it, you've seen it, rolled with it, you put yourself all in the same pool. So just because I'm going with them and I'm working out with them and let's say I'm tapping out guys that are the best in the world, doesn't mean that I come home and, like, you know what I mean? I can't get tapped out by the Joe Schmo,
Right.
Like that shit happens, you know what I mean? So like I don't know, I get my self confidence from my own training, my own like mindset, I guess. And it's worked, man. I can go with those guys, and I think that that's a product of just me, because
Yeah.
you know a lot of these other people that go there, and you know I've talked to a lot of guys, they're almost starstruck or not nervous, but you know it's like I don't know, they can't bring themselves to perform to that level because they're distracted because they're going with someone that's already established in the sport, you know. For me, I look at that as a feat in the gym. Like I want to go with the best guy in the world that's been in the UFC because I want to prove to myself that I can hang.
Yeah, you don't want to get tapped out by a guy like me. A
What'd
nobody.
you say, Ray?
I say you wouldn't want to get tapped out by a guy like me.
He's like, I wasn't gonna say that, Ray, but
Yeah, right. No.
I got a question to you about tapping people out and stuff. So you're ranked as a blue belt. We have like attendance policy, and you have to make so many gi classes or whatever to get your belt ranking. I've seen you on the mat. You tap out black belts all the time. How do you feel about jiu-jitsu? Do you think there's like just a little like elitist mentality with the belt system in jiu-jitsu?
You know what? What I want to be is like no comment. That's what I want to say. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna do that shit. But I'm definitely not gonna. I'm definitely, you know, I would never do that. But I'm definitely not gonna disrespect no one either. What I'm saying is like, you know, I don't really care about the belt system. You know, my father-in-law, who's a black belt. I've been around a lot of black belts. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since I was like 15 years old. I've been training like wrestling since I've been 12 years old. I'm a black belt in like grappling, no matter what you put on me, and no matter what you take off me. So from the gi to the no gi, you know, I can train. I can roll with anybody in the world. And I don't really define myself on the belt I wear that because that's not my main form of martial arts right now. My main form of martial arts right now is MMA, no gi grappling, and it just so happens where I'm from we don't get ranked, you know, in those areas by belts. That's what I mean. Like I'm not trying to disrespect the belt, you know, but I don't pride myself for, you know, on gi base, you know, like
It's kind of like
I do take those classes, but I do them for recreational. I do them to learn. You know what I'm saying?
so it's like
I
catch
don't do
wrestling,
them.
right?
Pardon?
It's like catch wrestling. You don't get no rank. You just
Yeah, it's just like catch wrestling. You know what I mean? There is no rank. But what I'm saying is like that, you know, like gi, if I was a professional grappler, like I know like Antonio Smith, shout out to those guys, they're like really high up. They go to worlds and they like really compete. So I think their belts matter a lot more than mine. Like me being a blue belt, that shit don't matter because like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not like at the world level, you know? Like they're dedicating their craft to compete at that level, you know what I mean? So they're in the gi all the time, training the gi. You know, that's not where my, you know, my interest is because I do MMA.
I would say
So
this.
that's the reason.
I would say
That's the
this.
reason why I'm not in the gi.
Training stories is never good to say who you beat in the gym or who beats who, but I will say this: Pat Mix, the blue belt, beats Jeff Dens, the brown belt with 4 stripes every time we roll, even with the gi on. With me being able to grab him and trying to choke him with the gi, it doesn't matter. Your level of grappling is very high, and I just want the world to know that as
Like,
well.
yeah, and I train with guys out there like Diego Brandal's black belt, Quintaro's black belt, Brazilian black belts, you know, and you know, I think I don't know second degree, you know, I think one of them are like Harry St. Ledger's a double black belt in judo under, and then a black belt in jiu-jitsu under Renzo Gracie, and he was like a great, you know, he's a great mentor to me. I still talk to him. You know, I talked to him the other day when Joby Sanchez fought on the UFC card. I talked to him and I messaged him right after the fight, and you know he messages me back, and we have a real good relationship. I feel like, and he really spoke knowledge to me when I was out there, and he told me, you know, just to really believe in my grappling and believe and trust, because even though I'm a blue belt, trust in how long I've been doing this. Like, you know, he asked me at one point how long I did this, and I told him I've been doing it, you know, since I was 15 years old, and he counted the years for me. And he's like, dude, you've been doing this 8 years, and he really put it in perspective for me, you know. You know, he said, you've been doing this 8 years. It takes like 10 years to get a black belt, man. Understand it, you know, feel it. live it, you know. And that's what I've been doing ever since. And I feel like my grappling just from my last fight has even gone up. You know, I don't know, just it comes natural, but the more times I do it, the more mad time I get. I think the better I get. You know, the potential is like I still feel it's untapped. You know, I still feel like I'm learning every day.
I think you're starting to really get to that level where you're transcending your athleticism. We talked about this the other day in the parking lot at the gym, but I really believe it. Before you used to beat everybody because you were more athletic and you were good at wrestling, right? Now your submissions just flow, the positions flow, everything feels really natural when you're rolling. It's not that you're a better athlete, now you're a better grappler. Before I used to be like,
yeah,
oh man.
I feel like I used to like use a lot of exploding. I feel like I do a lot of exploding, a lot of when I used to get in trouble, I would do a lot of like just like explode to get out or wrestle till you're on top and I never understood like the position. Like now I'm wrestling and then flowing and transitioning and it's not all one different. It's not one pace. It's, you know, a lot of different pace, a lot of different rhythms, and I'm just understanding to put the two together. So I feel like where I used to get in trouble and I used to rely a lot just solely on athleticism, now I rely on technique and really not being that athletic until I really want to explode.
And your stand-up, I would say the same thing. Your technique in your stand-up is coming along so much. I remember we used to battle, and I used to feel like, oh, man, thank God he's not good. And now you're phenomenal. You beat my ass every time we train, man. It's just your level of everything is so good.
The stand-up is good, too, because, like, I feel like you have to just get time in with each thing, you know, like, and stand-up is just the thing. I didn't have a lot of time, and I didn't have a lot of sparring, and, like, actual, like, if you think about how many hours have you done this, you know, I've wrestled so many hours in my life. That's why I feel I'm so good at wrestling, and now I'm flowing so much in jiu-jitsu because I'm on that mat. Like, and that's a product of, like, Len Sonia when I went out there. Them guys, they roll every single day 45 minutes. Like, their cardio is through the roof. They're rolling every day, though, at the end of class. Like, they're not just doing one or two. They're doing, like, 6 rounds. And that's, like, helping them progress every day, you know? And, like, just with mat time. So as I've been doing stand-up, I've been sparring so much, like, and not hard sparring, not where I'm getting hit in the head or, you know, crazy sparring, but I'm getting so high level of sparring, getting rounds with you, getting rounds with Ali, Alex, that now I feel like we're all rising up to the level, and my stand-up is, you know, now getting better because, you know, I'm going with all these great guys, these great boxers. And also, a big shout out to Kenny. He's one of the boxing coaches at the gym. He's been holding pads for me, and he's helped me out a lot. Scott Skinner, he's been holding pads too. He's also helped me out a lot. And then with Alex and Solomon, man, they just like are like two of my great training partners. But they're always showing me like little tricks and tips and like stuff that they see when they're working with me, and I'm always picking their brain, you know.
How did you get the name No Love? Where did that come from?
I think it's just because like fighting and stuff. I guess I don't really have emotions backstage. I'm like real. I guess they say I'm angry. I don't know what it is. You know? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You got to just see me before a fight. I guess that's the way. But I'm not going to be one of these dudes when the UFC camera comes on and they're like waiting for the guy to warm up backstage. That's like goofing around, pointing to the camera and laughing. You know, I'm going to be ready to take my mark and go. You know, get the job done. Like Lily says, you're getting into a fist fight, you know. Save all that shit. I'm not hugging, kissing, you know, throwing a mockery before I get in the cage. I'm doing one thing and one thing only. I'm walking from the back to the front. I don't care about the introductions. I don't care about the banners. I don't care about our names, our records, none of that shit. I'm here to do one, you know what I'm saying? So you take out all that shit, and it gets a lot more primal, you know. I think that's why they all call me No Love, and that's the way I look at it.
I remember the first fight I saw you fought in the TNT it was the summer. What's the name of the show?
SummerSlam?
SummerSlam? Okay. You destroyed that Gumby kid.
The Gumby kid?
Who?
Remember they call him Gumby?
Oh yeah. Then he made a Facebook post about me the next day. I screenshotted his Facebook post and put it on my Instagram.
Maybe that's where no love comes from.
He took a selfie and said, "Patchy Mix barely even hit me. It was
Oh
slippery.
man,
He said he got lucky. He hits like a woman. All this stuff." And then I took a screenshot of his picture and I said, "Someone pray for Kevin."
yeah, that's my first fight watching you fight, man. That was awesome. You destroyed that kid.
Pat destroys
Yeah,
everybody.
that wasn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
destroyed, dude. That wasn't even destroyed. That's like they used to make us at TNT wear those big ass oversized amateur MMA gloves that looked like they were like 10-ounce boxing gloves. And then we had these big old fat hand wraps on. And then I got on the kid and like punched him, not really using a lot of power. Didn't really know how to punch back then, as fast as I could to try to have the ref end it. Nowadays, you know what I mean? I'd pin that one arm down, I'd flatten him down in a crucifix, and I'd hurt that kid. So, like, I'm just thinking, like, I don't know. I know, you know what I mean? That's just how I look at those fights. Then I barely knew what I was doing, but I wish I could get in that same position now. Shit. I'd be dropping elbows like Matt Hughes on Gracie.
I know. I don't know if you want to get into that at all or not, but I know you lost a child, and that really fueled you for this drive to become the best. Can you talk about that a little bit, or do you not want to?
Yeah, for sure. No, that's all right. About like we were going for the Fighter Source tournament, and like I had a fight a couple of years ago. It was November 18th. In the week of the fight, my girlfriend at the time, she's still my girlfriend now, she was pregnant, you know, real far along her pregnancy, 8 months along, and she, you know, had it's a crazy thing, and she had a miscarriage, you know. It was very, they said, you know, not a lot of people what happened to her. It doesn't happen to a lot of people. It's like super, super rare, and so, you know, I don't want to touch on the medical terms or whatever. Just out of respect for her, but
Right.
So yeah, we lost our daughter at the time, and it was, you know, really hard for us, really hard for our family, and I think it's really driven me because you know, it happened at a pivotal time in my life. You know, I was looking at trying to go pro, looking at really fighting for a big contract. I felt with that tournament, and I had to fight like a couple days later. Like I think it was 4 days right after that. It happened on fight week, Tuesday of fight week. So, you know, it was very like a pivotal moment, I think, in my career and like my self-belief, I think, in my journey. So it's really, you know, just a testament of like your own mind and like having a hardship or a struggle and having to come over it, I think. And just going through that, I know I can go through, you know, anything really, or anybody, you know, or anything when I get in there, you know. I see guys get hurt. You know, when Rory McDonald and Robbie Lawler fought, Robbie Lawler got kicked in the head in the 4th round and like bagged up against the cage, and Rory McDonald put it on him, you know. I feel like I could go through that shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like I've already went through some real bad shit. So, you know, that's prepared me for this, you know, for what I do. I think that, I don't know, I just really think that this is, you know, my only calling that I've really, you know, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, you know, I have all these other jobs out of that, but this is the calling, the only thing that I always enjoy to do. And I think that this is like the one thing that I'm doing. So, I don't know. Like, I'm looking forward to going through some stuff like that. I'm looking forward to going through the hard stuff so I can learn about myself. And I think that was just one of the, you know, one of the things in my life that's just, you know, an example.
That spoke a lot to you as a fighter. I remember breaking down in tears when you won that fight. Like, I was literally crying, and I had tears running down my face, man.
It really was, honestly. I scaled that cage. You know, I felt like I could have beat anyone that night. Put Tony Gravely against Pat Mix that night, you know.
Right.
But I feel like now, just being a little bit more older, more mature, I've really learned to like hone that and like use it to my motivation and use it in my training. And I think that's why, like, these guys, they work, but like, I don't know, man. This is like a lifestyle for me. I know it might be a lifestyle for everyone else, and everyone else might want this too, because, you know, everyone does. But I don't know, man. Like, in order to take it from me, I'm gonna have to be like unconscious, choked unconscious, knocked unconscious. You know, it's going to have to be pried, ripped, and strangled from my, from my hand.
Right.
You know, to take a win from me, or to make, I don't know, winning and losing in there is like so pivotal to me, in my life, So we're all on the same journey, and it just so happens that we're all in each other's way. Just a weird thing, man. It's like animals, it's like the jungle almost. It's like, and you see them everywhere. That's why I like to go train these other places, because then, I get to go see, who's around the world, how they are, who's the best guys, what the levels are at, and then I try to, raise my own level to try and catch them guys.
That's awesome, man. I got one more question for you, and I'll let you get out of here.
Yep.
A lot of people ask me about you and about how you go train over there, and what's the difference between like training at Jackson's and what's the difference between training at Western New York MMA? That's probably the questions you're going to hear the most in your career. So I want to.
Yep, I always hear that, and I feel like the biggest difference is just the people at Jackson's. A lot of times, all the people are there in fight camp, and the fighters that also live there train regularly to take advantage of their gym. So, because they're just at such a high level gym. So the dedication of all the fighters there makes for like 60 to 100 people on the mat every single day, twice a day. And then with back home here, guys kind of find their fights. They pick and choose or whatever whenever they fight. It's not as big, and we have a smaller team, so the numbers aren't the same. That's it. It's just the skill level on the mat. Besides that, I think they run their practices also just like a little more like wrestling, where you have like a practice. I know how we have a fight team practice every day, Monday to Thursday.
Right.
But it's just, I don't know, like that's 6 hours a week, and I'm not knocking ours, but 6 hours a week for practices or whatever. For fight team, for MMA strictly only is what I'm saying. Not no gi, kickboxing here, that's a different sport in a sense. But
Right.
I'm saying it'd be nice, like for Jackson's, I think they have like on Monday, for instance, striking for MMA, wrestling for MMA, and then MMA class in the morning. So that right there is 3.5 hours strictly of MMA on Monday. And then you get to take advantage of those classes. And then if you think about like our MMA, strict MMA, we have Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Monday. So that's about 6 hours total. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just the hours of MMA, like strictly solely focusing on MMA, is like they have a lot more of that out there, obviously, because there's more fighters, there's more classes. With more fighters comes more classes, and we're trying to build that here, but that's just the difference. The skill level right now, and just the attention to MMA, like how many, hours a week they're putting in. Yeah,
So-
that's the reason why. That's really, truly the reason why I go out there. I wish and would love that if I had them same levels and all here, so I didn't have to do that, because, my family and my life is out here,
Do you plan on staying here no matter how big you get?
Yeah, I do want to stay here. My dad, my mom's here. I plan to stay here, but depending on how big I get and life takes me and opportunities, and I don't know, what the future holds at all. But I plan to honor that, and if I don't stay here, I still plan to honor the people that were with me. I still plan to have Art with me. I still plan to have Dub, Dennis with me. The guys that really brought me up. I'll always honor that, and I'll always be true to them.
Awesome, man. When you headline
And Herbert also too.
when you headline about the Buffalo, whatever the odds, what's the odd call now, Ray? Where the
The
Saber,
what?
what's the call where the Sabres play?
Oh, I don't pay attention to hockey, Caveman.
Yeah,
The Sabres?
yeah. Where do they play? What's the arena? The Buffalo arena.
The
KeyBank.
HSBC Arena?
Yeah,
KeyBank Center?
KeyBank Center. When you headline KeyBank Center for UFC, man, I would like a signed glove from you.
Oh, for sure, man. You've helped me from the beginning. My cousin still remembers you.
Oh yeah,
My cousin Wesley loves the Caveman.
that's
He
awesome.
said, the one fight he said, I didn't even know who this guy was with his long beard. And then out of nowhere, and then he says, I didn't know, wait, what He said he was in pajamas. He didn't know who this guy was at the fight. He took the pajamas off, and underneath it, he had a dress shirt on.
Yeah, I didn't want no one to see my dress shirt.
No. And then he picked up the microphone and went inside the cage. The announcer, and he said, "What's this crazy guy doing?" Yeah, man. Funny story.
Oh shit.
But all right, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys calling. I appreciate finally getting on. I wish I could have done it in person, but I definitely wanted to call before I went on, for my trip. And again, after camp, it would be nice to get back on here. And
Hell yeah,
just,
dude.
Talk. I'll have my notebook, and I'm going to be jotting down notes. And just talk about some things that, the actual camp and just experience in itself.
I would love that.
Oh yeah.
You have an open
For
invite
sure.
to Caveman's Corner anytime you want. No matter how big I get, you're always welcome on my show.
For sure. The first week of April, we'll have. Be sure to expect a nice call, and we'll get back in touch, buddy, for sure.
All right, man. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Pat.
Thanks.
Hey, buddy, anytime. Thank you. I appreciate you, both of you. Thank you too, Ray.
Thank you, man.
All right. Talk to you
All
soon,
right,
Pat.
bud, I'll see you.
World champion Patchy Mix is leaving the building. That's how we do it, Ray.
Oh yeah.
How many world champions have we had on our show now? Pat Mix,
Pat Mix, right?
James Toney,
James Toney,
Mark Coleman,
Mark Coleman, Dan the Beast. Right?
Dan the Beast Severn, yeah.
Yep.
Is that it?
No. We have more. Shit.
I think that's it.
Oh no. We had the fuck his name is.
Oh man, well, we forget world champions. We're not such a good show.
You know what? Yeah, that was it.
That was it. Because Erickson never won a world title. Neither did Bonner.
Bonner never did.
Oh, Amir Abdallah. How the fuck did we forget Amir Abdallah?
Yeah, we had a $1 million. Yeah, I knew it was somebody.
Yeah, Amir Abdallah and Kevin. Kevin Alligator.
Oh yeah, Kevin. Yep, world glory champion.
Yeah. Can't forget the goddamn glory champion.
What else? And that's it, right? Yeah, we had some world champions on here. That's great, man.
I know. Pat Mix. UFC champion someday.
Yep.
KOTC champion today.
Yep.
Awesome, man.
Hopefully he goes to Japan too if nothing works out.
Oh my God, him and Risen would be awesome.
Well, yeah, 'cause that's a big promotion out there. It's like Pride, ain't it?
It is like what Pride is now. That's what they have left. All right, Ray. Anything else to add for today?
I'm hungry. I want to eat some pizza.
I had to put in Pat was eating those the Funyuns right before he missed weight for the 125-pound thing, so I had to tease him about that. Oh man, he's gonna beat me up. I'm glad he's going to town for 5 weeks. I think he missed it too. I was like talk while he was talking, so he wouldn't hear me, but it got recorded.
you know they're gonna listen to this and they're gonna remind them.
I know he's gonna listen to this on his way back, and I'm gonna know why he's called No Love. For real though, like he's definitely a black belt level on the mat.
For sure.
I see him tap black belts all the time.
He been training over 10 years, right? Grappling.
Yeah, he said 8, so that's a long time, man.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I don't see the difference. I mean, gi or no gi, training is training, and I bet you he could beat guys. He whoop guys' ass that wear gi.
Yeah, he whoops my ass when we wear a gi still.
So he's a great grappler.
Ray Ayers doesn't whip my ass when we put gis on.
No, I don't. I try to, but I try to cheat too.
Yeah, stinky shirt. Oh my God, dude, that was the worst.
Next time I'm gonna wear Mr. Poopy Pants fight shorts.
Yeah, I gave Nicole a couple shots out. His girlfriend Nicole, a couple shots out on the other one for being crazy, and her dad was like dying. Mr. Hess, he's a really cool guy too. He teaches at the gym now. Professor Hess, black belt. We gotta get him on the show soon too. Him and Brandon Muckle.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're gonna get Art Jimerson.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
he was the first world-class boxer in the UFC.
Top 10. First guy to fight with one glove. The only guy to fight with one glove.
Yeah, we gotta ask him about that.
Yeah, he's famous. I know. I heard the whole story, but I love to hear it from him.
Yeah, I heard the story too. It's good to hear from him though.
Yep. All right, and you still gotta get me Harold Howard. I've been waiting for a long time.
Okay.
You promised me, Ray.
I'm gonna get. You see, I try to get Michael Huas, but he don't speak English.
That's all right. We'll just interpret for him. Just have him speak Brazilian. I'll be like, yes. No matter what he says, it'll just be yes. All right. Well, let's get out here. Pat's a savage. It was awesome having the world champ on. You didn't talk too much, Ray.
I was listening to him, and I was just, amazed with him because he's one of my favorite fighters in the gym.
Yeah, we gotta get you on this mic over here. I got you a black mic because you're a minority, so I got a black mic, and I got this white mic so I can keep in the white power thing going or the white privilege.
You know what? I gotta take a picture of the mics for people to know what the hell we talking about.
Yeah. And then send it to me. I'll post it in this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, man. Pat makes a beast, man.
Greatest fighter I've ever worked with so far. Maybe forever.
Best fighter in the whole New York State, the Northeast, right?
I would say he's probably got to be the biggest prospect in the Northeast. Right. Definitely has the ability to make it the farthest. His grappling is unparalleled, man. It's so good.
He gets your back quick.
Yeah. Not just that, dude.
Back, right?
His wrestling's really good. Submissions are good, dude. His guillotines are good. His takedowns are good.
I don't know nothing about this dude he's fighting. You know stuff about the dude he's fighting?
D1 wrestler, man. He just takes people down, man, and beats them up. He doesn't really stop his shots even. He just shoots, and he's able to get guys down. I don't think that's going to work against Pat. If I was breaking down this fight, I think Pat's striking is going to show through this time. I think this guy's going to be shooting right into Pat's strikes, and I think Pat's going to look like he's a heavier hitter than he really is just from that guy coming forward all the time. Pat is going to hit him.
And then,
I believe that.
And then you won't think he got the power to take Mick down? Because I've never seen this dude before. I'm just asking.
He's a great wrestler, but until you feel Mick's, his grappling is so good. And
he stick to get his back, right?
And he's fucking strong, dude. Like, not like muscle strong, but when you're fucking wrestling with him, dude, he is strong as fuck. I watched him wrestle with Muhammad McBride, who is probably the strongest guy I've ever wrestled with. I see him like push Herbert around. He pushes Eddie Weiser around. Him and Pat had a submission grappling match at Grappler's Quest. I don't know, what was it? A couple months ago now, a month ago.
Yeah.
And they were going toe to toe in the tie up, battling back and forth. Muhammad got a little bit of the better of Pat, but not much. And Pat's a 135 pounder. Muhammad's a 170 pounder that pushes around everyone I've ever seen him go with. I've never seen anyone push Muhammad around. And for him to be that strong at that light of a weight, man, that just says like what kind of athlete he is. And when another 135 pound Division I wrestler comes at him and tries to take him down, I think it's going to be the same thing. I think they're going to clash. Mix is going to be able to defend the takedown, at least initially. Or if he's not defending the takedown, he's going to be looking for a choke or a guillotine because his submission game is so good from that position. And he's got great arm drags, and his striking is like good, and his movement is good.
Yeah, rumor has it that
That what?
He's a good puncher.
Oh yeah.
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 Some damage, I heard.
Yeah, busted up Ali's nose a little bit. It was a kick though. It wasn't a punch.
Oh, it was a kick?
Yeah, it was a kick. Ali ducked into it.
Oh,
it was like an accident. That sucks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a piece about Ali and why they're both losing out in their fights because Ali was supposed to fight in that KOTC card. If you haven't listened to or read my works on Jeff Captain Caveman Dens, please check them out. So far, I wrote one about Eric the Bull Herbert and Kristen the Headhunter Janice. Both those articles are heartfelt.
Yes, a tear came down my eye with that one.
Yeah, which one?
Janice.
Yeah, it was a good one.
She is. You know what, Janice, she's such a great person, and training when I used to train with her, she's real cool and real nice.
Yeah, she just she did Grappler's Quest. She went down there with Jeremy Stopa. Stopa went down and won the blue belt division.
Is he back at Western?
He's
New York?
back at Western New York MMA,
okay.
baby.
I seen him at Kingdom of the Cage. I was like, it's finally nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I heard a lot of good things about him.
Dude, he's awesome. He's a great wrestler, dude. I can't wait to get
Division
in camp with him.
wrestler too, right?
Yeah, he's good, dude. It's gonna be great having him in camp, man. I can't wait to exchange punches, kicks, knees, elbows, and takedowns with him.
Because it's always good to have a killer in the team.
Yeah, dude. It's good. It's really good. He went to Thailand and trained stand-up before, so it's good. It's going to be great having him in the gym.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and Eric Bull Herbert is running for NT School Board. Make sure you vote for Eric Herbert if you are in North Tonawanda for the school board.
Yeah.
He's the best person I know.
Yes. He's younger than me, but he's more mature than us.
Yeah, we were saying that off air
are.
earlier. Eric's like 10 years younger than me, and he's like 20 years more mature than me. He's definitely the man.
Yes, he is.
He's supported by drug dealers like Ray Ayers. Even though he's a policeman and he puts people like Ray in jail, they still like him.
Damn.
Probably shouldn't have said that, right?
Yeah.
Good thing no one important listens to this.
Yeah.
This one's probably going to get like 10,000 views because Pat's on it.
The whole Western New York
Yeah.
of me listening to this.
Yeah. And you didn't say like one thing, man. People are going to think you weren't even here.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't like this mic here.
I know you should have been over on this mic.
Yeah, I know. Because it's like I gotta keep putting my head down.
I could have just unscrewed this thing. It's one little screw. I could have put it over here for you. You could have been on that side.
All right, the next one we do that.
All right. Plus, that mic sounds like garbage. That's the cheapest mic I could get.
Yeah, because when I was talking, I felt like an echo and shit.
Yeah, because I had to turn the gain up because you talk from so far away.
Yeah.
I could have, if you were going to use that one, I could have just busted out one of the $290 mics I got sitting in that bag over there instead of the $37 mic you're talking into right now.
Oh, man.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
All right, let's get out of here. We're going to play the Mexican music for you.
All right, thank you. All right, fight fans, coming out of the Caveman Studios in Buffalo, New York, we are out of here.
Oh, we didn't make fun of Mickey one time with Pat.
Oh, yeah. Damn. That's the first.
Yeah, we missed out.
Damn.
Fuck.
Yeah, Mickey looked like $1 million at the King of the Cage.
Did he? Till he was all drunk and all over everybody.
Yo, that guy stole my drink. He took my drink out of my hand and started drinking my cranberry juice and vodka.
Yeah, he was trying to take everyone's drink, dude. He's a mess. We gotta keep him away from alcohol.
Yeah, we do. Yes, Mickey, get away from the alcohol, man. Mr. Poopy Pants.
Poopy pants all day.
Poopy Pants.
Another successful broadcast. First one with the new setup. Got anything more to say?
Nope.
All right, me either.
I want to eat some pizza. That's it.
We're the worst. All right, that's it. We're done.
Okay.
All right.
Damn, I need a more comfortable seat, man. My ass hurt sitting down here.
I know. I thought you were gonna sit over here, right?
Okay. Are we still on?
Yeah.
Oh, oops.
Why? We're always still on.
Damn. Now people know my ass hurt.
It's so fat. How can it not hurt?
I know, right? I got all this cushion. Yeah, I need to lose some weight. I'm fat.
You got a lot of cushion for the pushing.
I'm a fat boy now.
Yeah. That's all right. I still love you, Ray.
Okay.
You look better with a little bit heavier anyways.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You look more gangster.
Okay.
All right. Let's get out here and let's do your gangster podcast.
All right.
All right.